The Platinum Age of comics, spanning from 1897 to 1938, marks the period when sequential art and comic strips became a significant part of American newspapers. This era laid the groundwork for the modern comic book industry. In 1897, the publication of The Yellow Kid in McFadden's Flats introduced a 196-page comic book that featured the character the Yellow Kid, a bald, mischievous boy known for his catchphrases. This marked one of the earliest instances of a comic book format. The Yellow Kid's popularity also contributed to the term yellow journalism, referring to sensationalist news reporting. Simultaneously, comic strips began to appear in newspapers. Notable strips from this period include Mutt and Jeff, which featured the antics of a tall, thin man and his short, stout companion, and the Katzenjammer Kids, depicting the mischievous adventures of two German-American boys. The success of these strips led to the creation of comic book anthologies. In 1929, The Funnies was published as one of the first comic books, compiling various comic strips into a single volume. This format became popular, with titles like Famous Funnies and New Fun following suit. These publications helped establish the comic book as a distinct medium, separate from newspaper strips. During this time, characters like Little Orphan Annie, a determined and optimistic girl living in an orphanage, and Popeye, a spinach-eating sailor with superhuman strength, gained widespread recognition through their comic strips. Popeye first appeared in 1929 and quickly became a cultural icon. The Platinum Age concluded in 1938 with the publication of Action Comics #1, which introduced Superman, a superhero with extraordinary strength and the ability to fly. In summary, the Platinum Age was a formative period in comic history, characterized by the emergence of comic strips and the early development of comic books. It set the stage for the evolution of the comic book industry and the superhero genre. The Golden Age of comics, spanning from 1938 to the mid-1950s, represents a pivotal era in the development of comic books, marked by the introduction of iconic superheroes and the establishment of the medium as a significant form of entertainment. In June 1938, Action Comics #1 was published, featuring the debut of Superman, a character endowed with superhuman strength and the ability to leap great distances. This marked the inception of the superhero genre within comic books. Following Superman's success, Detective Comics #27, 1939, introduced Batman, a vigilante who relies on his intellect, physical prowess, and an array of gadgets to combat crime. In December 1941, All-Star Comics #8 presented Wonder Woman, an Amazonian princess possessing superhuman strength, agility, and the ability to fly, equipped with magical weapons like the Lasso of Truth. Simultaneously, other publishers contributed to the burgeoning comic book landscape. In February 1940, Whiz Comics #2 introduced Captain Marvel, a young boy who transforms into an adult superhero with the utterance of the word Shazam, gaining the powers of 6 mythological figures. In January 1940, Flash Comics #1 featured the Flash, a hero with the ability to move at superhuman speeds. In June 1940, All-American Comics #16 presented Green Lantern, a character wielding a power ring that grants him the ability to create energy constructs limited only by his willpower. The Golden Age also saw the emergence of other notable characters, such as Hawkman, who possesses the ability to fly and wields ancient weaponry, the Sandman, a detective who uses sleep-inducing gas to subdue criminals, and the Spectre, a ghostly avenger with vast supernatural powers. These characters appeared in various titles, including More Fun Comics #52 in February 1940 and Adventure Comics #40 in July 1939. During this period, comic books served not only as entertainment, but also as tools for wartime propaganda. Characters like Captain America, introduced in Captain America Comics #1 in March 1941, were depicted fighting against Axis powers, reflecting the nation's involvement in World War II. The Golden Age concluded in the mid-1950s, influenced by factors such as the rise of television, changing public tastes, and increased scrutiny of comic book content. The publication of Seduction of the Innocent in 1954, which criticized comic books for their alleged negative impact on youth, led to the establishment of the Comics Code Authority, imposing self-regulation on the industry. This period set the stage for the Silver Age of comics, characterized by a resurgence of superhero stories with updated themes and characters. The Silver Age of comics, spanning from 1956 to the early 1970s, marked a resurgence in superhero popularity and the introduction of numerous iconic characters and teams. In October 1956, Showcase #4 featured the debut of Barry Allen as the Flash, a police scientist with the ability to move at superhuman speeds. This marked the beginning of the Silver Age. Following this, Showcase #22, October 1959, introduced Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, a test pilot who wields a power ring granting him various abilities. In Showcase #34, 1961, the atom was reintroduced as Ray Palmer, a physicist who can shrink to subatomic sizes. These revivals were part of a broader trend of reimagining Golden Age characters with modern, science-based origins. In November 1961, Marvel Comics introduced the Fantastic Four in Fantastic Four #1. The team consisted of Mr. Fantastic, a leader with the ability to stretch his body; the Invisible Woman, who can become invisible and create force fields; the Human Torch, who can fly and generate flames; and the Thing, a member with superhuman strength and a rock-like body. This debut was followed by other significant introductions, such as Spider-Man in Amazing Fantasy #15, 1962, a teenager with the proportional strength and agility of a spider; the Hulk in The Incredible Hulk #1, 1962, a scientist who transforms into a giant, powerful creature; and Iron Man in Tales of Suspense #39, 1963, a wealthy inventor who dons a suit of armor equipped with advanced technology. The Silver Age also saw the formation of teams like the Justice League of America, first assembled in The Brave and the Bold #28, 1960, and the Avengers in Avengers #1, 1963. These teams brought together various superheroes to combat threats beyond the capabilities of individual heroes. The Bronze Age of comics, spanning from approximately 1970 to 1985, marked a significant evolution in comic book storytelling, characterized by more mature themes, complex characters, and a departure from the idealized narratives of the previous era. In April 1970, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, #76, introduced a collaborative series. This storyline addressed contemporary social issues, including poverty and drug addiction, reflecting a shift towards more socially relevant content in comics. In June 1971, The Amazing Spider-Man number 96 to 98 presented a three-part storyline where Spider-Man confronts drug abuse. This narrative was notable for its publication without the approval of the Comics Code Authority, highlighting a move towards greater creative freedom in the industry. The death of Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man was a pivotal event in comic book history. Her death marked a departure from the previously unchallenged safety of supporting characters, introducing a new era of storytelling where significant characters could face permanent consequences. In 1972, Luke Cage, Hero for Hire #1, introduced Luke Cage, a character with unbreakable skin and superhuman strength, who operates as a private investigator for hire in New York City. In 1975, Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter #1, introduced Bronze Tiger, a martial artist with the ability to transform into a bipedal tiger, possessing enhanced physical abilities. Bronze Tiger, also known as Benjamin Turner, became a prominent figure in the DC universe, associated with organizations such as the League of Assassins and the Suicide Squad. In 1971, New Gods #1 introduced characters like Orion, the son of Darkseid, and Highfather, leader of New Genesis. The Copper Age of comics, spanning from approximately 1984 to 1991, was a transformative period in the comic book industry, characterized by significant shifts in storytelling, character development, and publishing practices. In 1984, Secret Wars, a 12-issue limited series, was published by Marvel Comics. This event brought together various superheroes and villains on a distant planet, marking a significant crossover event in comic book history. In 1986, DC Comics released The Dark Knight Returns, a 4-issue limited series that reimagined an older, grittier Batman. This storyline presented a darker tone and more mature themes, influencing future portrayals of the character. Also in 1986, Watchmen, a 12-issue limited series, was published by DC Comics. This series deconstructed the superhero genre, presenting morally complex characters and exploring themes of power and responsibility. In 1987, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 was published by Mirage Studios. This independent comic introduced a group of anthropomorphic turtles trained in ninjutsu, leading to a multimedia franchise. In 1988, the Death of Jean DeWolf storyline was published in Spectacular Spider-Man number 107 to 110. This narrative depicted Spider-Man's investigation into the murder of a police captain, showcasing a more mature and detective-oriented approach to storytelling. In 1989, Batman: The Killing Joke, a graphic novel, was published. This work provided an origin story for the Joker and explored themes of insanity and abuse, contributing to the darker tone of the era. In 1991, X-Men #1 was published by Marvel Comics. This issue introduced a new team lineup and became one of the best-selling comic books of all time. The Copper Age concluded around 1991 with the rise of independent publishers and the increasing influence of multimedia adaptations, marking the beginning of the modern age of comics. The modern age of comics, beginning in 1985 and continuing to the present, marks a significant evolution in comic book storytelling, character development, and industry practices. This era introduced more complex narratives, diverse characters, and a broader range of genres, reflecting and influencing contemporary culture. In 1992, Spawn #1 was published by Image Comics, marking the debut of a new superhero. The character, a former CIA operative who becomes a Hellspawn, navigates the complexities of his new existence while confronting various supernatural entities. In 1997, DC Comics introduced the Milestone Universe, a line of comics featuring characters like Static, a teenager who gains electromagnetic powers, Icon, an alien who adopts the guise of an African-American man, and Hardware, a genius inventor who becomes a masked vigilante. In 2006, Marvel Comics published Civil War, a 7-issue limited series that explored the ethical and political implications of superhero registration. The storyline divided the superhero community, with characters like Iron Man supporting government oversight and Captain America opposing it, leading to significant consequences for the Marvel Universe. In 2011, DC Comics launched the New 52, a publishing initiative that rebooted its entire line of ongoing monthly superhero comic books. This relaunch included changes to the publishing format and alterations to characters' origins and histories to make them more modern and accessible to new readers. In 2015, Marvel Comics introduced Secret Wars, an event that merged various alternate universes into a single reality, leading to significant changes in the Marvel Universe's continuity. This storyline had lasting effects on the structure of Marvel's storytelling. In 2016, DC Comics initiated Rebirth, a publishing initiative aimed at restoring legacy elements to its characters while maintaining modern sensibilities. This initiative sought to balance the rich history of DC's characters with contemporary storytelling. In 2023, DC Comics launched Dawn of DC, a year-long storytelling initiative that introduced new titles and interconnected narratives across its line of comics. This initiative aimed to create a cohesive and expansive universe with events in one series impacting others. Throughout the modern age, the comic book industry has seen the rise of independent publishers like Image Comics, Dark Horse Comics, and IDW Publishing, offering a diverse range of stories and genres beyond traditional superhero narratives. This diversification has expanded the appeal of comics to a broader audience. The modern age of comics continues to evolve, with ongoing developments in storytelling, character representation, and industry practices, reflecting the dynamic nature of the medium and its ability to adapt to changing cultural landscapes.